Science Unscripted.
Hello and welcome to Science Unscripted. It's Conor here. Gabe is back there holding a basketball hoop. I have a tennis ball in my hand. Doesn't really make sense, but it was the only ball I could find to demonstrate a basketball free throw, which if you've been fouled on the court while shooting, you get 2 shots. And so the first shot, you're going to try to make it. And here I'm probably not going to make it.
Nice shot.
Almost broke our lava lamp. So I just missed the first shot, and that means the odds actually go up that I'm going to miss the second shot as well. And that's not good because the more these shots you make, the more likely it is that you're going to win the game and maybe win the championship, be champions of the universe. So the question is, what could possibly happen right now so that the odds go up that I'm going to make this shot without Gabe cheating? I'm not going to cheat either. What sort of intervention could change the outcome? We're going to find that out together with researcher Christiane Büttner from Basel, Switzerland.
Science Unscripted.
Hi, my name is Christiane Büttner. I'm a researcher at the University of Basel in Switzerland. I'm a social psychologist, and I just published a study on free throw performance in basketball and how touch might help there.
So what was the conclusion? If you're shooting a free throw in basketball, what has to happen to make it work better?
If you're shooting a free throw in basketball and you just missed, so you get 2 free throws and you missed the first one, it really helps if your teammates come in and touch your shoulders or your back to support you.
How much does it help?
It helps significantly so. So if you miss the first throw and your teammates then touch you, then you're more likely to make the second free throw compared to when they didn't touch your shoulders or back to support you. Especially between not being touched at all and the first free throw, there's a huge jump in your probability to make it.
And how did you analyze this, or how did you come to this conclusion?
We watched 60 basketball games from the College Women's Association and then coded for each throw whether in between the 2 throws, the other players touched the shooting player.
Okay,
so I watched a lot of basketball.
Yeah, so you wait.
A lot of free throws.
Wait until somebody's fouled.
Yeah.
They go to the free throw line. They're shooting free throws. They have to miss the first free throw. And then you're looking at that video footage to see, did someone walk up and like, hey, it's okay. You're gonna do better next time.
Was the touch that long?
Exactly.
Or is it just one little touch? Or
No, usually it's one little touch. Usually the 2 players who play the defense, they just slap the hand. But then sometimes the other players who are out on the field come in and also touch the player, usually their shoulder or back.
Was I right when I was looking at your study that it seemed like there was a clear increase in performance based on how many times that person was touched? So like 1 touch is okay, but 3 touches is better, and 5 touches. This guy's ready to. I'm gonna keep on touching.
Can you?
This guy. But right,
I knew this was gonna happen. Yes.
it goes up more and more. Like it seems like there was no upper limit possibly to how much better you.
The upper limit is that there's only 4 other players on the field, so you can only be touched 4 times. And we would have been so interested in seeing, does it also help when, I don't know, the coach comes in? But they don't do that. I'm not even sure they're allowed on the field. So there's the upper limit of it can only be 4 other players. And it really only works when you miss the first free throw. And we interpreted this in a way that when you miss the first throw, your stress level is even higher. And what that social support does is lower your stress level. And that then helps you to execute the motor skills to make the free throw.
Were you able to see in the body language of the thrower being touched or the shooter being touched any change? Anything that can explain why their motor skills are better on the second free throw? Did you see anything?
That would be a bit psychoanalytic, I think. But after a while, because it was quite boring watching all of those free throws,
Totally.
I started taking notes on like the nicest free throws or like the nicest touches. And I saw that in a few players, they really expected this left-right, like having 2 touches from the players that were close to them. And there was one player who like sort of missed the hand because the other player had gone to talk to the coach or something, and she just touched in the void, and then you could really see her like surprised and maybe a bit sad, if I dare interpret.
Yeah, let down.
So yeah,
Sure.
that's definitely, and that's the default, that the two players right next to you, they touch. That's the, like in 60% of the cases, there's 2 touches.
Okay.
Did you end up landing on the basketball free throw because it's difficult to find anything else like it? When I first saw your study, I was thinking, wow, this has applications, or you can definitely extrapolate to other sports. But there aren't too many situations like that in sports, are there? Or are there other examples where there's an attempt to do something, you're standing all alone as a sports athlete, and then you either do it or fail, and then your teammates can come up and give you support? Are there other situations like that?
So a lot of people have said that volleyball, they huddle, and it's extensive, like they group hug after every point they make. So that would be another case. I can imagine that it would work in double in tennis, that you acknowledge each other through touch. And then someone recently said something that I found really nice. Usually you pat someone on the back when they did something all right or good already, but maybe it would be more helpful to do it before. And that then applies to many other situations. Like imagine Gabe is really, really stressed about the recording, and then you just pat him on the shoulder a bit. Might help to take some of the stress off and might make him a better moderator.
Guess what's going to happen?
Can we just can we practice?
My stress levels.
Let's imagine we're about to go and interview this really scary, intimidating researcher from Basel, Switzerland, named Christiane Büttner.
I'd be shaking.
I am shaking in my boots.
And then I place them in and say you're going to be kind of like you're going to be fine, right? And then the idea would be you do the same to me. Yeah. There we go. Oh, see,
now we don't miss the interview or.
Well, now we're calm. No matter, I think, in addition to the positive effects of touch, right? It's also the distraction. If I'm having anxious thoughts, God, I missed it, and now I hope I don't miss it. But if I miss the first one, I'm probably going to miss the second one. What was my form off? Do I need to follow through more? Then at the very least, a quick couple taps is possibly also just distracting me from that negative cycle, I guess.
Yeah, that could very well be. We didn't measure cognitive distortions or thoughts or hormone levels. So we don't know. We just observe real plays, like real games. But it could very well be that there's other studies showing that your cortisol levels, so stress hormones, go actually down when someone touches you. So that could also help you to bring yourself more in the moment, and that should help with free throw performance.
And for people watching or listening to this right now, that's all it would take? Is a pat on the back before they do some activity that they're nervous about that's going to help them psychologically?
That's what we see in the data. Like bringing up free throw performance in basketball is one of the number one objectives of coaches, because it's the only thing that you can really influence, right? That's something you can train a lot and then you get better. But there's a plateau. Like in college basketball for women, I think it's 80%. Most players don't get better than that. So if that pat even gets you like 3%, that's totally worth it, because that point could decide the game, and they often do.
And in the greatest sport of all, life.
Golf.
No, well, life. Yeah, golf is up there with life.
Well, the caddy could help. I mean,
no, yeah. I mean, obviously, again, extrapolating or speculating. But if someone I know is about to do something and I can see it's stressing them out, it's an individual performance of some kind. It could be a speech that they have to give. It could be a podium discussion they have to moderate. It could be anything that your research would suggest that I could help de-stress them slightly. Not even with words, because not all of us are good with words, especially at those moments, finding the right ones, but just with a little reassuring touch on the shoulder.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Science Unscripted.
And that was Christiane Büttner talking to us from Basel, Switzerland, about basketball and answering. I didn't really have a chance to say this during the interview, answering a question that I have had for years. I played basketball, but my question was not about basketball. It's soccer, which I also played. And in soccer, actually all sports, if something goes wrong, there are teams that are like, hey, especially here in Germany, hey, was soll das? Yeah, they're yelling at each other. You can see the psychology of the team cracking and fracturing and breaking apart. There are other teams that not only don't do that, they're walking around and doing the little high five slaps and actually physically getting together even. And I've always wondered, I've always thought that has to have an effect. It seems like based on this research from Christiane Büttner that it would.
Golf, momentum, right? When you double bogey a hole, the way you bounce back, that defines you as a golfer. If only I had known before I failed at my attempt to go professional in golf, that all I needed was a caddy to come and caress me or touch me. After every bad shot.
Although if it's too much, maybe it's an inverted U curve.
No,
sort of
but
thing.
the important stuff here is that Christiane said that this can affect everyone, and not only sports. If you've got anything that you're worried about that would cause your cortisol levels to go up.
Yeah, but then you need someone to touch you, and who's going to do that?
Well, that's the tip. So you go and get someone to touch you.
Do you hire them? I mean, hopefully you have friends and family.
I don't care how you do it. I don't care how you do it. You find somebody to give you some support.
$20 an hour. I need you to calmly tap my shoulder. The other way of looking at it is from the other direction. Is somebody you care about, or even don't care about that much? Are they obviously stressed out?
There you go. Yeah.
And is it a situation where it is appropriate to give a reassuring touch? Think about it. You can actually help them, and it's pretty simple and only takes a couple seconds.